Okay, so welcome to this evening's episode of Damage Does D&D, Helloran Rising. So, the last we were here, you were in the middle of a fight. As you progressed, the fight started to turn your way. You pressed your advantage and finished off the rest of the sea creatures. With this done, albeit quite, it took quite a toll on you, with people at various states of health. You started to investigate the cave more fully, finding some interesting goods in the small side room from a ship named the Sea Dancer. One of the things, which was a very nice axe, which Trelador takes after translating some very old elven script, which had a poem about absorbing the foe or something, but he seemed to be quite happy with it. You also got some very shiny daggers, 3 of, a hand crossbow, and 4 rings, which you gave to Yorick to identify. He later identified these as a ring of feather falling, a ring of protection, a ring of warmth, and a ring of spirit. You also found, luckily, a smaller chest outside the side room that had no markings on it, but inside there were 400 gold pieces and a familiar metal box, which Snow immediately opened to find a trident-shaped gem, coloured blue with green swirls in it. He closed the box up sharpish. Whilst investigating and talking about what is going on, the ground starts to shake, and Celeste noticed this was a familiar shaking as the walls slid by, as the whole cavern raised up from beneath the sea and the rock was fell away to reveal yet another temple. There were 4 doorways, north, east, south and west. Gus decided to go out the northern doorway onto the beautiful sunny golden sand beach, and as he does so he finds he cannot get back in, and while drawing idly on the golden sands he suddenly seized by the urge to dig a large trident shape into the ground. Snow meanwhile goes out the west doorway onto a stony beach, and Celeste follows him out. Again they cannot get back in, although they search far and wide. They do not run into anyone or see anything like the island you came into. No footprints, no people, no boats, nothing. Meanwhile, inside, the rest of the crew, from prompting from Miette, work out that this is another temple, but it seems to be inside out, as the doorways each seem to lead to a slightly different beach. And then the realisation strikes that Snow has the gem that might be needed to escape. Snow, meanwhile, is also seized by an urge to carve out a trident shape in the ground, and when Celeste tries to stop him a couple of times, he eventually stabs her, which leads to Melissa rushing out to intervene. The rest of you work out that you probably need to do something in each location. And Florian writes a message to Melissa, but she can't see back into the temple. She, however, after speaking to Snow and Celeste, writes a message to the group inside that you need to make tridents on each of the beaches. And that is where we'll pick it up. So, starting inside, Florian, you've just read that message.
And there's me, Trelador, and
Miette.
Miette in there, isn't there?
And Yorick.
And Yorick. Well, I'm assuming that they can see us, because Melissa just replied back to my note. Seems like, well, one of us has got to go outside the other 2 doors and do these trident things that they're doing in the other ones.
Off you go then.
I mean, I can do one, but another volunteer would be nice for the other door.
You don't know what we're volunteering for.
Whoever goes at this stone door is probably going to die. That's what we're volunteering for.
Well, yeah, I mean, a quick and painful death while saving others, or staying in here until we run out of food, water, and starve ourselves to death.
You can see the waves crashing against the rocks, yes. There will be nothing quick about that. Or painless.
So we don't need to leave someone inside.
Potentially, so at least 2 of us need to go out.
Okay, I'll go out one door then.
All right. I was going to volunteer, but if you want to go, Trellador, fine.
I don't mind.
Um,
Which doors? The
just
north.
a question. So, all the other temples we've been to, and we put a gem inside. We needed the opposite element as such to stop it. Can anybody here create fire or anything?
Yes. Yes, I can.
I would suggest that you don't go out then, Yara, because you need to get to snow as soon as you can to hopefully get that gem out of whatever it's got to be put into.
You can see out. You can see that Melissa's holding a scimitar that's wrapped in fire.
Just a backup, I would say. I mean, Melissa looks like she's got it covered, but just in case anything does happen. So, Trellador, which door are you going out of? I'll go out the opposite.
Well, let me check out the weather first. And I'll look out each door to see which one looks more clement.
The eastern door looks horrific. There's a big storm, huge waves crashing against the rocks. It's basically large rocks everywhere.
And the other one?
The other one, the southern door, is slightly overcast. No, it's not overcast. It's patchy cloud. It looks as though it has been raining, but it doesn't seem to be raining at the moment. It's a sort of stony, sort of shingle, then sand, then shingle beach.
I will take one for the team and I'll go out the southern.
Okay. You're going out the southern door.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if this is going to work, Yarrick, but I think it would comfort me more if we tried. And I'm going to pull out the rope from my bag and tie it around my waist before I walk out the rocky, rainy, stormy door.
Okay. So you're going out the eastern door. Okay.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind just holding on to the other end of this,
Right,
I'd
I was
appreciate
going to ask. You
if it
just
doesn't-
kind of tied it and dropped to the other end, and okay, I'll take that.
I appreciate that if it doesn't hold as one, there's a reason for that, but it just makes me feel a bit more comfortable. Yeah, and I
Okay.
will most definitely walk out very tentatively,
Okay. So you
using
go out.
my quarterstaff as an actual walking aid.
Okay. Well, you get out into the storm. It is blowing a gale. Literally, you get soaked the instant you're out there. As you walk and you look round, you turn round to look back, and there's a blackened doorway, and the rope is dangling from your waist.
Yeah.
Seems to have been cut by the door.
I know we've got to make tridents as per Melissa's notes. I have no idea how, so I am just going to... Yeah, Florian's just going to relax a little bit and see if there's any thoughts or insight of how to make a trident on a stormy, rocky surface.
Make intelligence check.
10.
10. The only thing that instantly comes to mind is maybe you should stack some of these big rocks up to make a trident shape, much like Snow did with the smaller rocks on his beach. Because you can't see any way of digging. You'd have to move loads of rocks to get to the earth to dig. So.
Okay, I will look
Shame
around.
you don't have Snow with you to stab you in the gut, and then you could paint with your own blood instead.
Always an option.
I
Not a
will
bad shout.
look around for, and I'll be doing this carefully as well, for not too big of rocks, it's rocks that I can handle to
Make
start
a
making
perception
a
check.
trident shape. Oh man, 11.
11. It's difficult. The rain is almost sideways, horizontal at the minute, so you're sort of looking to try and find some of these rocks. A lot of them are boulder size. You find a couple of smaller ones that you think you could probably move into place.
I start doing that.
Okay, make a wisdom saving throw, please.
14.
14. You start moving some of these rocks, and then you feel imbued with strength all of a sudden to start moving some of these bigger rocks. Those of you who are inside can see Florian moving enormous rocks and sort of pushing them into place, making this
He's
huge
stronger than I
trident.
realized.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. Those are, you're not sure you could lift those.
It's fairly lucky my first roll was heavily cocked, so I couldn't use that, otherwise that would have been quite high.
You don't know what DC is. So, leaving Florian to his rock arranging, Trinidad, out the front door, you look up, there's a few clouds sort of passing by. It's a sort of shingly, sandy beach. Water looks not too inviting, it's a little grey and cold, but what would you like to do?
I'll do what I saw Snow do. Start making the shingle a trident.
Okay, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Is this against being charmed?
Yes.
19.
19. Okay. Yeah, you sort of start putting this trident shape together. I think it's going pretty well. Sort of shove the shingle. Tell me about your trident shape. What are you making it out of? How big are you making it? Where are the points of the three prongs? Pointing towards the sea, towards the temple?
I probably wouldn't even think about that. Probably pointed towards the sea, just randomly.
Okay.
And I'll sort of just normal trident and I'll sit back and I'll just sort of turn back to the room and just go.
You can't see anybody in the room.
No.
It's completely black.
I'll just sit down. I've done my bit.
Okay. So, inside you see Trellador make. You're piling the shingle up, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. You see Trellador sort of put this shingle into a vague trident shape. Doesn't look quite the same as the others, but you guess it'll be okay. Florian, after about sort of 10 minutes of moving these rocks, you sort of suddenly come to with a voice echoing in your head saying, "Excellent, just one more and we're there." And you look down and there is an enormous trident, about 6 feet long, with these massive rocks with the tines pointing towards the temple.
I take it it's still absolutely pissing it down.
It is absolutely battering it down. The wind,
If I go-
rain.
If I go right up to where the doorway was,
Yeah.
I would know, because I've put a note out to Melissa when I was inside,
Yep.
and she put one back. I would now know that no one can see anything from the inside as such. As
No,
in,
you
like,
know
if
that-
I can't see anybody, so I know that, like, it was just pure pot luck that she wrote that message to me.
Right.
Probably still standing there holding it.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably.
So knowing that people can see inside, fuck, if I go right up to the door, is there any area where there's respite from the
Not really. It's kind of there's an archway. There's about about 2 inches, sort of by the before the blackness starts, as opposed to the outside of the temple archway. So there's no
Don't
sort of overhang you can. Sorry.
So don't know what he's moaning about. It's a beautiful day.
Well, exactly. But yeah,
I'll
there's
try
no overhang to sort of keep the rain off or anything. No.
I'll try and get the attention of either Mia or Yorick inside. I'll kind of be like at the door and
Make. Yeah, Yorick, are you watching anybody in particular at the moment, or?
I imagine standing somewhere in the middle, watching between the two doors.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, Florian appears to have finished and is sort of standing by the doorway, sort of waving at you.
I don't know when, so I'm going to give it a few minutes, and then I'm going to step aside and I'm going to move down to where I've made like the tips of my tridents, and having got that message, I'm going to surmise that obviously Trelador hasn't made his yet, because there was still one more. The voice said one more needed.
Indeed.
And I'm just going to point out that, like, kind of, and just trying to hope that they make that correlation of that it needs to be made kind of like this way.
Okay. So you see Florian gesturing. Quick intelligence check from both of you. See if you can work out what he's saying.
I doubt it. 6.
Nope, not a clue. Is it a new dance? Who knows?
19.
19. Yeah, you remember him saying there should be 4. And from his reactions, you guess he's asking if all 4 have been done.
What's he flailing at?
I don't think he likes the rain.
That too.
He seems to be done. They're all done.
I'm just going to be like on repeat, like a Disney animation movie where you're trying to point out something, kind of like, and I'm going to be like stood at the top of this massive boulder made trident and be like,
He seems quite pleased.
He seems quite happy with his trident.
He does. It'd be handy if he knew thieves can't.
it
Oh,
would.
But nothing seems to have happened.
No.
Trollodor's done one as well, and he's sat down now.
I'm probably
So,
just skimming
with your-
stones into the ocean.
With your intelligence check of 19 yet, you get the idea that perhaps perhaps Florian wants you to check on the others.
Okay, so going around the other 2 windows down that I haven't been watching.
Okay, so
Does.
Gus has a trident with the tines pointing at the temple.
What you'll also see is a very crudely drawn in the sand picture of Redritz biting Yorick's butt.
Gus seems perfectly happy in his sunny golden beach, making silly drawings of, Yorick getting his butt bit. The next doorway has, it's not a place called it. Let's go through the east window. The next doorway where Melissa, Snow and Celeste are, Snow's trident again has the tines pointing in towards the temple. And what are you 3 up to currently?
I'm going to say you probably see very agitatedly Snow sort of like essentially sort of flipping the daggers around his hands in a very similar fashion to what you've normally, but he's very agitated.
Slowly drooping with my arm with the bit of paper that I wrote the message on, trying just occasionally saying, I sure hope they can read this.
Celeste is sitting on the ground, trying not to move too much because she doesn't want to bleed anymore.
Fair enough. So that's the situation in that window. Trelador's door, he's made his with the tines pointing out to sea, and is, I believe, currently skimming stones into the ocean.
Yep.
Right. I'm going to start cursing on my breath in that particular cant that I learned from listening to my uncles. My mother wasn't around and the language I wasn't supposed to learn.
Yep.
And I will stop briefly and turn around to Yorick and go, you'll have to stay here. You know the fire. And I'm going to march through the door, Trelador's door, kicking the stones.
Hey!
Increasing the volume of my cursing at him, though not expecting him to understand, before I pick up a couple of shingles, hurl them at the water, saying, well, come on then, use me.
What?
She seems
What?
very cross.
Are you being corrupted by this temple?
Not yet. You weren't
What's
either.
the problem? What's the problem? Don't tell me. Florian messed it up, didn't he?
You messed it up. You have done it wrong.
How have I done it wrong? You said draw trident. I point
Yes,
to where it
towards
was.
the temple. Pointed
You didn't
towards
say that.
Point towards the temple.
No
You could
one
have
said
tried
that.
again. You saw the others being drowned. You could have tried again. Shut up. I'm here now.
No, I can handle this.
And Miette is going to start arranging to try them properly.
Okay, make
I
a
will-
wisdom
I
saving
will-
throw.
I will supervise her doing it.
Okay.
2.
2. Yeah, Niet just
Sorry. Importantly, my
Yeah.
wisdom is a minus modifier, so that's a total of 1.
1. Perfect. Okay. So, Mia, after storming out, cursing at you, kicking the stones of your, quite frankly, she put it, useless trident, she starts to dig into the shingle and the sand and starts to dig out the shape of a trident with the tines, importantly, pointing towards the temple.
Do you
wish to
want any
assist her?
help? Do you want any help?
You cannot hear him. All you concentrate on is building this trident, digging, excavating it out.
I'll probably just move a few rocks here and there, but not really help.
Okay, fair enough. So, you get it done, and as you stand up, you come to yourself, and your paws are just covered in sand and wet, tiny, those tiny little stones you get on shingle beach, or just covered under your claws, and this is like you're standing in this trident. You step out. There's a 6-foot-long trident with the tines pointing towards the doors.
You look a bit messy. Why don't you go for a swim?
I will throw you in the fucking ocean.
Someone got out of bed the wrong side this morning.
So, all of you, as this last trident is completed, the black doors vanish. There's a sort of that sort of crashing wave noise, sort of, and the doors are open to the temple again.
I run straight in and try and de-rain myself.
Okay. So you're all
good.
running inside again?
Yeah.
Hold on, I just want to say.
I am not running.
Okay.
I will cautiously keep my distance from Yet a little bit.
I will help Celeste in, but I'm still holding onto my scimitar.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I'm walking in slowly. I took a few seconds to notice this because I was so busy having fun. But then I'll say, "Oh, all right, okay," and I'll start walking back in again.
okay. So as you start walking in, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to be contrary, if it's possible, depending on what's about to happen, I'm going to attempt to try and go to the warm, dry beach to dry off my pole.
Yeah, you could sort of run in and then go out to the sandy beach that Gus was on. Sure. So as you all gather, and Yorick, you would see this as the doorways all sort of that crashing surf sound. It sounded to you like it was coming from that pool, that rock pool that the thing dived into. And as you look over, it's sort of starting to glow an eerie sort of sea green. And it's sort of bubbling. And rising out of the middle is what looks to be a large trident.
Well, as it had started to make some noise, I'd have drawn the hammer and sort of taken a step towards it.
Okay.
But it's just a statue trident.
Just appears to be a statue of a trident, glowing green, bits of seaweed hanging off it. And it's about 6 foot tall. It stops sort of poof, just above the top, the surface of the water. And you can't see if anything's supporting it or not. But it starts to sort of just slowly spin in place, just turning round.
How did you do that, Yorick?
It's a quest item. Sorry, Gus?
How did you do that?
I didn't do anything. I was the only one doing nothing. I'm glad you're back though. I was getting bored in here.
Alright, darling, you got any more of that healing?
Yeah. Sorry, Melissa, yeah.
Celeste needs some attention. And I'm helping Celeste to see.
Yes, unfortunately, I can attest that Snow's new blades are quite sharp.
You want to give him a clip round the ear for that? Right.
It was not his fault. He was taken over by whatever powers trying to get us to raise this temple.
Oh, you had tabaxi problems as well. How interesting.
I'm going to follow Miette's choices and go out to the warmer, hopefully a much fucking warmer beach to try and dry off a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's easy enough.
I'll just go over to Celeste and go, right, you come here, I'll fix you up and rub her back a bit and cast Cure Wounds. First level.
Under Snow's breath, he'll start sort of just muttering some words in sort of the cant of the river folk. And yeah.
I'm assuming, Miette, that you had to go and help Cholador. I completed mine way before he done his, and
she didn't help. She just guided.
You're not there. You're not there.
I am.
You're inside.
No, you're not to do this on the warm beach.
Oh yeah.
The two of them went out to the northern beach, which is all sunshine and warmth.
Now it was 11 points of healing.
Thank you, Yorick. It's much appreciated.
I know you couldn't hear me. I kind of put two and two together that you couldn't see anything or anything, but I'm really glad you put it together and figured it out. I don't suppose I
Thanks
got
to your help.
a favour to ask you. I'm a bit wet through, but have you got a couple of torches on it we can use? I just want to make sure there's enough fire in this place to do what we need to do.
Torches?
For the fire, you know, like the wooden sticks with a little bit of wrapping around them, with light them up and...
I know what a torch is.
And Florian actually didn't mean it like that. You just said this because you said torches.
No, I was just trying desperately to remember. It's like, did I add those to my pack? But also a case of why would a tabaxi need torches?
If you got any, it's helpful. If not, don't worry. I just thought I'd come and dry off, say thank you, and see if you had any.
No, I'm sorry.
Thank you anyway, Miette, and I'll walk back in.
If you find some oil, I'll have some rags I can give you.
Just the sticks, really. Everything I got is just soaked through. It was... I mean, I'd have said Trilado should have gone at that one. I don't know why I didn't.
I think you know perfectly well why I didn't.
Well, I'm just trying to be kind, you know. And I'll walk back in.
So, you walk back in, everybody sort of standing around looking at this trident, which is very slowly rotating.
Is there?
Go on.
I think you were about to say the same thing. Is there a slot in this trident?
Strangely, there is. Just below the tines, there is a slot about that big, that deep, which in the shape of a trident, which your gem should fit perfectly into.
Is my pocket glowing?
Yeah, pretty much. Same
Melissa.
colour as the trident.
Okay, so Snow will visibly pull his sleeve down and reach in his pocket, and he's got the gem in his hand.
If I see him doing this, I'll step up next to him and say, I got this just in case.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about this one, Melissa. So, you got any dry torches on you that we can just light and give a hand at it?
I have some torches. You're quite welcome to have them. I don't really have a need for them.
Would I be silly in suggesting that we don't actually touch it, and if we could cast some fire magic on it instead from a distance, would that be the wiser choice?
100%. I'm just thinking of a more all-round safety for
Just
everybody.
having enough fire might be wise. And I'll pull out a torch, light it with my scimitar, and offer it to them.
I'm going to take all my torches out and hand them to Florian.
I'll take
I
out.
would like to know that I'm going back in the temple before I do this in case something fucked up happens to be just.
Where are you going, sorry?
I'm coming back inside before any gems get put in any sockets.
So there's 10 torches there.
I will light a torch from the torch what Melissa gave me and hand it to Celeste. I will do the same for Gus, Miette, and anybody else who hasn't got one, basically, apart from Melissa and Snow, who are doing the other things.
I took one of my own torches out. No idea why. I just took it out and lit it.
Yeah.
I'm just standing there looking very confused with a torch in hand.
We now look like a lynch mob.
I appreciate it, Florian, but I have a new trick now, and Celeste will just produce flame in her hand.
Thank you, Celeste. So I've used 3 of them.
Yeah, I've got my own torch.
Okay. Cool.
I'll light my torch off Melissa's scimitar.
Celeste, can you throw that?
I can, yes.
Great. Well, everyone, let Celeste and I make the first moves. All right.
I need to be within 30 feet, though. I can't throw it too far.
Let's be ready to get wrenching the gem out if that don't work.
What are we doing?
Putting the gem
Same.
in the...
Sorry.
Go
on.
Where have we got torches?
Are we going to try and do it without
Right.
putting the gem in, or...?
Gus, the last 2 temples we've been in with these kind of gems, they've reacted real bad to particular types of magic.
Okay.
And elements, if you will. The first one we went to had a ruby, and that reacted real bad to fire.
To water.
I think to water. Sorry,
We got it, didn't we? Yeah, that worked.
And I think that the same may be the case with this one, except instead of any other element, because it's water, it may well have the inverse effect of the ruby.
Right. Okay.
React bad to fire.
But surely won't the water just put the fire out?
That's what we're going to find out.
Okay, fair enough. I'm ready.
As this gem, is anything sort of happening like it did the first time with the hearing and...
So as you pull it out of your pocket, there's it glows noticeably brighter the closer you get to the large trident. And make a perception check.
Should we Should we just try burning the gem without putting it in? Natural 20 for 28.
Nice. Fucking hell.
Not natural 20.
15.
So everybody hears this. You can hear the crashing of waves. So it's not loud, but it's just in the background. It's like, and the sound when the sea sweeps back off a beach and the stones will go. You can hear that as well. You can also hear strange noises, whale noises, and sort of dripping of water, and it's really strange and odd. Just, your hearing suddenly starts to go as if you're underwater, where everything's muffled instead of clear, and each other's voices are now getting a little bit muffled.
But the gem hasn't been put in yet, no?
Not yet.
Just getting closer to the trident, yeah?
As it gets closer to these noises get louder, and the sense of that feeling of being underwater.
I'll move closer a little bit to Snow and Melissa and be like, just hold up. I don't know if you heard it, but Yark did have a suggestion. And then I'll say, he did say, why don't we try burning the gem before we put it into the chair so nothing does happen?
Why would that do anything?
But haven't we got to put it in there to make us go back to where we came from?
As it says, its power is not activated until it's in the socket.
How do we get out of here? That's the main thing.
I just want to check something. Florian's big brain role last week, he shared that insight with us, didn't he?
He did, yes.
I think that whatever's attached to this temple, whatever kind of power, ain't going to be letting us leave till we put this gem in. I think that's what's happened the past 2 times.
Based on our previous experience, we're not getting out of here without doing it.
We've been able to remove the gem before, but we had to put the gem in.
I dislike the feeling that we have to do these things to leave.
Unfortunately, that's how it's gone.
And I am concerned that we seem to keep finding these places and coming across these gems. It's almost as if they're being placed in our path.
Exactly what I was about to say. It's more like they found us.
They found you two.
I don't think that they found us. I think we've been put in the position to find them.
Well, this is just a random observation, but with each one of these, it's been 2 dwarves that have led us down into these temples.
Hey, don't go blaming us. It wasn't our idea to get the boat to Dar.
We didn't sink it neither.
We didn't sink it neither.
How do we know that?
I'm just saying, you've got a mighty good nose for ancient ruins of gems.
Yes,
We just
maybe
like
when
to
you get
explore.
the inkling to go exploring, we go the opposite direction next time.
Now, we're supposed to be a family. I don't like all this fighting.
I'm not fighting, I'm merely making an observation.
Well, when I make observations, it's called hostile.
Maybe it's the tone of your voice, Trellador.
I don't know
Or
what you're
maybe
talking about.
Or maybe it's the fact that you want to kind of break people's kneecaps. I don't know. But
Are we doing this or not? I want to get out of it.
Okay,
We are
I'm getting
doing
bored.
this.
Melissa, blink.
Clink. As you do so, the sense of being underwater magnifies immensely. It's almost as if pressure is being applied to your entire bodies. And then there is a big sort of rushing whoosh of water out of the pool in the centre. And this forms into a figure, large, 12 feet tall. As it sort of takes shape, there's a sort of watery, flowing feel to it, look to it. Appears to be elven, with long, braided hair, bare-chested, and sort of scales across from sort of here down. He has legs, but they're very close together, very heavily scaled. And he reaches out and wraps one hand around the trident, and you hear 4 dull booms. And the pressure relieves, and you can hear normally.
Just whilst this is like, can I just point something out whilst this is going on? I don't know why I want to do this, but Florian does. He just walks over to Trellador and just puts his hand on his battle axe hand, as if to say, "Just wait, just."
Okay.
The OTP is holding hands.
Yep.
Not holding hands, as in a stoic.
sweet.
Don't do this
I
just
did
yet.
check the chat immediately.
Oh my God, they're
Florian's wandered over to hold your hand. I think you might be scared.
What?
No, obviously being close to the pool and
Yeah.
where the trident is, would just look up.
You see in this full majesty that you can actually see into this being's body. There appear to be fish swimming in it. It is very weird. It's like it's almost made of liquid. But then you can see scales on the outside, and as you concentrate on them, they seem to solidify. But as you take your eye off it again, they sort of dissipate again into sort of liquid form. And you can see tiny shoals of fish swimming. Every now and again, a larger.
Look, it's got fish in it.
And it sort of looks down at you, Snow, and then around at the rest of you.
Slowly reaching up for my
Picks
hand.
the trident up out of the pool, bangs it on the floor, and as it does so, the pool empties itself of water. Water is gone. It turns in a sort of wet, odd voice. So you have come to learn.
Who are you?
Very well. Take the passage. Find the knowledge. It disappears into a huge wave of water. Everybody, Snow, you need to make a dexterity saving throw. Anybody else within 10 feet? I don't know if
I
there
probably
was.
would have been about 25 feet back because I was getting ready with the fire.
Natural 20 for 27.
Nice. So you get wet, but you don't take any damage. Anybody else within 10 feet?
19 for 25.
25, yeah, you're fine. So again, you get wet. Your torches go out if you had a torch, but you
My
didn't.
scimitar doesn't. It's still fiery.
But yeah, you get absolutely soaked, and as you look down, there are fish sort of flopping about on the floor.
Did that daddy just ruin my hair?
Yes, he did.
It seemed alright until that sinister laugh at the end.
Exactly what I was thinking, and Florian is in a panic because it's not just love for humans and everyone who can talk. He starts trying to scuttle up these fish and putting them to the closest ocean.
What's a deity?
So you go to the collect some fish, yeah? I'll say you can gather an armful of fish. Where are you going, sorry?
To whichever door had the closest ocean to us.
The doors are all blank.
Seem to be holding a lot of fish, Florian.
Yeah, if I didn't do that though, I would have noticed we can't get out of here until we follow that passage he just said about.
They can't breathe, they're dying, Florian. What are you going to do?
Is there any other water still left in here?
Yeah,
There are a couple of those pools still around.
Yeah, I'll go over to at least one of them then.
I will help Florian save the fish.
You're gonna save the fish. It's amazing.
Fish are friends, not food.
Well,
I'm too lazy to actually look for the GIF, so I'm just going to put the image into your heads of Red Dwarf and the cat and the "I'm going to eat you, little fishy" song.
We're already there.
Yeah.
So, what is this knowledge that we're about to find?
Noah steps up onto the edge of the thing.
Maybe it's a recipe of how we can cook those fish.
Looking
Maybe.
into the pool as was, you can see a series of roughly cut steps almost. It looks natural, but it is a series of steps that lead down and out of sight.
So he sort of draws the pair of daggers again. So, shall we?
I don't
I
like
didn't know
this.
that I did not know how to breathe in the water. Using the light getting wet, but the breathing thing's a concern to me.
Yeah, it's
Is this a good time to discuss a game plan? Because every time we've gone into this, we always say, "Ooh, we should come up with a plan."
I am very nearly tapped magically.
You want to stay here?
I'm just saying that if we were to run into trouble, I have very little that I can do to keep
Okay.
people alive.
Do you want me to do a little scout?
I
No.
think we should stay together.
if that's going to be done, why not me?
Yes, we've had enough of dwarfs running off, I think.
I
for one.
think we should be sticking together for now.
As far as my mind's working with all of this, like you said, Strelador, a bit of a tactician's approach to this. Normally it's been a chair we've got to get a gem out of. We now got to fight a monster of the water with a trident, and they're trying to get it out of that. It's going to be a lot
We don't
harder.
know. All we've got to do at the moment is walk down some stairs. But sometimes that's...
Yeah. All they said was about knowledge, and we ain't here for that.
Can I ask the DM a quick question?
Sure.
While we were out waiting for the other two tridents to be made, would a short rest period of time have passed, or if not, that's fine. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. Well, it's tricky because not everybody would get one because you were all sort of doing things at the same time. So
Okay, fine.
it's, yeah, not really. About that amount of time had passed, but you were doing things while that was happening. So
Okay.
Yeah, I was very busy drawing pictures in the sand.
exactly. Important
If
work.
I will go first, and then
Perhaps we could take an hour before we descend, just to recuperate a little.
Well, I could do with some lunch. I'm quite hungry.
Thanks, Milo.
We have fish and we have torches.
Better than anything, ain't it? We can go in there
If
just
you
a little
want
bit
to go
stronger.
now, then I can understand, but some of us are quite injured, and if we have to fight anything, we need to be...
Well, why don't we cook some of these fishies and have a little rest, and then we can go down after that?
If everybody is amenable.
why would you cook them?
I'd rather be
Nice cook.
Humans have them.
I'd rather be not in this temple, to be quite honest.
So, what are you doing?
I'm
I'd vote
expecting
for a
one.
short rest.
I'm busy trying to make a fire out of torches.
Okay, make a survival check.
Okay.
No goes and basically grabs two fish, cuts the head and the tail off, fillets them in the middle, opens them up, hands one to Miette and keeps one for himself, and then just starts munching.
Fair enough.
I got a natural 1 for 2.
Yeah, every time you sort of put the torches together, they keep falling over as you try and sort of build a pyramid of them, and you get like the last one in, and it goes, and then half of them go out because they dropped into a pool of water.
Oh, this ain't working.
Why aren't you cooking your fish?
Why do you cook yours?
Asking all the important questions today, aren't we?
Well, I cook them. I guess they taste nicer.
I'm going to try and help Gus set up a fire and use produce flame to try and get the fire going.
Okay, what are you using for wood?
I'm going to try and see how many of the torches are not sopping wet, and try and get some tinder from my tinder box and maybe some other scrap bits if we've got any other wood around.
I have an empty box that used to house a gem.
That's metal.
Oh, okay.
And we might still need it if we get the gem back.
Damn.
Use some kindling. Have we still got the room where we found the daggers and stuff?
Yeah.
So look for anything there that we can use to make the fire.
Certainly, there's a
And
table
find
in
a
there.
try and find as dry a spot as possible to get it
Sure,
going.
I'll say you can smash up the table that's in there. It's
Well,
a bit.
probably not Celeste, but getting Celeste asked maybe Tralador or somebody.
Gus, if you're assisting Gus could quite easily smash a table up.
Okay.
Oh,
So yeah, you managed to get a fire going with the bits of table that were that Gus smashes up for you, which means you can cook your fish if you wish.
Do you want me to do the same as I did for these for you as well?
That would be very nice. Thank you, Snow.
Okay, so I'll say you spend the next hour filleting, cooking, eating, or not cooking, depending on your preference, eating your fish. You can have a short rest.
During that time, I'm going to present the 4 rings to the group.
Aha, yes.
Let me just roll me
I
healing.
am going to roll 2 hit dice and hope I don't get screwed.
So you saved all those fish, Florian,
Be right back.
and now you've eaten them.
It's the intent that's important.
So I got screwed out on my first hit dice I rolled. It was a 1. Luckily, I'm not that high.
I rolled 2, and I rolled double 8s on
Nice.
d10s, so I get 20 hit points back.
I've never
Right.
played the character. Never played a character, by the way, what gets anything back through a short rest. So I was thinking, doesn't really fucking matter for me. Really doesn't matter. And I was like, no, I get my key points back with a short rest. Let's do it.
Yep. There are a lot of classes out there that are short rest classes. Do I get my spell back? Yes, I get my spell back.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Because I'm technically part warlock, so I get my max magic back.
yeah, I got 16 hit points back.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm back to max, but I used all my dice for safety.
Cool.
What?
Remember that
There I go.
I was just going to say, remember that you only get half of your hit dice back after a long rest.
So, Yorick, you were.
Right. Before we got in all this mess, I was looking at these 4 rings, right? And I'm going to put up a hand because I've currently got them all on. You've got my my model. If you look very closely, there's lots of bits of jewelry on there.
One fits your style, that one this,
So I got these 4 rings, right? Well, there's one, but pretend there's 4. This one, it will stop you from hurting yourself when you fall. Right, so
I like that. I fall over all the time.
you do fall over a lot, but that's just generally clumsy. This is if you fall off of high things. So if you're going to be doing lots of climbing, then it might be good.
Perhaps somebody like Florian, who's quite agile, or Niet or Snow might find that beneficial, though I feel like they probably land on their feet a bit more than the average human.
I kind of have a bit of a skill of my own, which kind of helps me reduce any half fall. So I think it'd be best given to somebody else who can get up high.
Florian's diving game is on point.
Mod to the Twitch channel, please.
Yep, I'm on it.
Okay, thank you. I was just about to.
Right. If no one wants it, then I'll keep it on because I quite like the look of it.
Potentially for you, Snow, because, I mean, you can get up pretty high pretty quickly, just in case anything does go wrong at any point.
You
Yeah.
are essentially our scout now, I believe.
I'll take it. It's could be useful.
Okay, yep. So that's a ring of featherfall. Some D&D Beyond, so just slap it into your inventory.
What are the others you got there, Yara?
I quite like the look of this next one, so I'm putting myself in the pocket for this. The pocket. In the mixer for this one.
It's a new canon saying that, in the pocket.
In the pocket. I'm putting myself in the pocket for this one. It's a ring of protection. It's gonna make you a little bit harder to hit.
May I?
Good stuff.
Martin, that was for
The people that I've tended to heal the most have been Florian and Trellador, so might I suggest that one of those takes it?
I would probably suggest Trellador. It seems.
Yeah, it does pain me to say it, but Trellador would be the better one to have it.
Well, I don't get hit a lot.
You get hit quite a lot.
I have healed everybody at one point, but you and Florian are the ones that often take the most damage.
I'm not exactly the healthiest when it comes to getting hit, so that's probably why you have to heal me a lot more than the others. But yeah, I would say, I think
Perhaps you could like put a little pinky in each. As long as you stand beside each other, should be fine.
I would say it would probably help if our most
Shame it's not like a
hardest.
heart-shaped friendship.
I would say our most hardest of companions here, Trellador doesn't go down too easily, so if he can stay up even more, I think that could be a big bonus to us.
Alright, Trellador, here you go.
Okay.
Take the ring.
Thank you. I'll pop it on.
Okay, next one.
It's a ring of protection.
It's a ring of protection. The next one can be passed around to whoever needs it, because whoever puts it on gets the benefit of it. It's a ring of swimming. It makes you be able to swim pretty fast.
Well, given that you are wearing the heaviest armor here at the moment, Yorick, I would suggest that you keep that while we're on the water.
Okay.
Yes, either you or perhaps Miette, but I don't know if she'd willingly go into water that easily.
Yes, but the weight of his armor might hinder his swimming, but at least with the ring he may be able to swim a little bit better.
I'm quite strong. I can probably swim over. I'm not... Got no practice with swimming, let's say, but I'm pretty strong. I reckon I could just flap my way safe.
I think that ring would be perfectly suited to you then, Yara, just to make sure.
Fair enough. The last one, it's a ring of warmth. So if anyone doesn't like the cold, then they can pop this on and they'll get nice and warm.
Well, I don't mind cold at all. We live in the mountains. We're used to that.
Yep.
Miette doesn't like getting cold and wet.
I do not like the wet. The cold when it's dry does not bother me.
I mean, I can't stand the cold, but I feel like that's the same for everyone. That's what you get when you grow up on the South Coast.
Well, here you go, Melissa. You take this.
I'll kind of look it over. Does it match my general jewelry?
It's silver with an engraving of flames.
I fucking love that you are bringing transmog to D&D, by the way.
Yep. Why
Wardrobe is life.
Exactly.
I'm sure I can get this redone in gold. It'll be fine. Then I'll slot it on.
Okay. So ring
Are we saying it's an hour to attune to them?
Yeah, I'll say that you can, along with this long rest, short rest, you can be attuned to your new rings.
Resistance to cold and unharmed by temperature slows minus 50.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Resistance to cold damage is pretty nifty
pretty
as
good.
well.
Yeah.
That pained me quite a lot, by the way, Trellador, to say that you probably could do with the ring of protection.
My armor class is lower than yours.
Really?
Was 15, now 6.
I know. Okay. I'm glad it went to you then. It does
But
not
I have
pain me anymore.
I have 4 times your hit points.
Yeah, I think you've caught back up to me. I think that leaves like I think Miette had the lowest AC of the party.
15.
Same.
Okay, so with your
Probably the-
short rest over, your loot distributed and fish eaten, what would you
My
like to do?
Crimson Right would have gone out on my scimitar as well.
Yes, it will.
So I'm
Well.
sheathing that, getting the bow ready again.
If you don't
Right.
mind, I will go first, and I will scout on ahead.
Well,
Enough follow up.
is it water we're going into, or is it dry path?
It looks dry.
After
Wait, I thought we were descending into a pool of water.
The pool
No,
emptied.
The pool,
At the pool.
the pool of water, all the water came out of the pool and formed this person. And
I
then,
think I'd assumed that when the person dissipated, they refilled the pool.
no, it just splashed all over whoever was closest and all around on the floor.
So maybe I'll scout first, and then one of our heavy hitters behind.
Okay, so give me a marching order. You can, to start with, it's sort of single file, then it widens out once you hit the bottom of these steps.
Florian will be in front of Melissa, and as they go down the steps, we'll just look behind him into her eyes and just give her a nod. And then
So, Snow,
I'll follow Snow then.
Trellador,
I'll go after Trellador.
Yorick,
Yorick goes, I go.
Gus,
I would say probably Florian, Melissa.
We'll
Florian,
go close to the middle.
And me at the back with Miette.
Melissa, Celeste, and Miette bringing up the rear.
Yes.
Yeah, it is damp down here, so it's not, the most pleasant place you've ever been, Miette.
I'll offer out my
Yeah.
hand to Miette to help her and then not let go unless she wants me to, in case she's a bit scared.
What you say, she's a scaredy cat?
When it comes to descending into what had a pool of water in it, yes.
You'd see Snow draw the 2 new daggers and essentially just melt into the shadow.
Okay, so give me a stealth check, please. Are the rest of you being stealthy as you go down here, or are you not bothering?
I'm going to attempt to be.
It depends if I'm told to be.
Is it dark down here?
If directly
It is,
top.
yeah.
Okay.
So have the humans
Following-
lit torches, or are they bumbling around?
I'm currently kind of considering it.
Okay, it looks pretty dark. It would be
Do y'all
wise
mind
to
if
have a
I-
torch.
Do y'all mind if I light up a torch? Because don't like not being able
So
to
if you're
see.
lighting a torch, I will say you will not be stealthy.
25 on stealth.
25 on stealth, that's good to know. Excellent.
Okay,
So-
I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to squeeze Celeste's hand and then let go, and then move forward to the humans and link up Florian and Melissa, and then put Melissa's hand on my shoulder to lead them. So we
Seeing,
can continue the night.
seeing Miette do that, I will put my hand on Florian's just for sort of reassuring and to sort of help guide him too.
Okay.
So we'll go as quietly as we can in the.
So let's have a stealth check from the rest of you. Snow, I'm having as further ahead because he's scouting.
I will say,
So, group
as
stealth
we
check for the rest.
as we start this, I will say to Florian, just have a torch ready, darling.
Okay, so Trellador,
7.
7. Yorick,
Disadvantage 17.
Nice.
Wow. Gus,
13.
not bad. Florian,
I think I misheard Melissa and have lit the torch already. I rolled 5.
5. Okay. Melissa,
10.
10. Celeste,
17.
17. And Miette,
11.
11. Wow, okay, that's pretty low.
That's good.
Do I only use a day?
We're
Wow.
only 3 of us are actually any good at stealthing, apparently, and one of them is wearing heavy plate armor.
Who knew dwarves could be discreet?
Okay, so Florian, you're finding it very difficult to negotiate these steps in the dark. despite the people leading you, and you sort of keep stumbling and kicking things. Trelador, yeah, you're not faring much better at the front. You've lost Snow completely because he's disappeared off into the darkness. So you're now essentially at the head of this column, and you're not really sure which way to go. But you sort of keep bumping into the wall with the butt of your axe just to keep where the wall is, so you can keep going down. So, Snow, you get down to the bottom of these stairs, or steps, and the passageway seems to open out. It seems to be very soft, silvery grey sand. You think it's probably about 10-15 feet wide, this corridor, and there's a soft light coming from further up ahead, sort of deep blue almost, but slightly shimmery, ahead on the right. You reckon about 40 feet away is where this tunnel sort of passageway bends round to the right. So do you want to wait for the rest to catch up, or do you want to press on? You can hear them coming down the steps.
Yeah, I'm going to press on because I don't really want them to catch up to me because it will spoil the stealth that I've got already. So I'll sort of wait for a few seconds and let them catch up a little bit and then move off again.
Okay. So as you move off again into this soft sand, as you step off the rock onto the soft sand, you sort of sink about, I'd say, really a centimetre at most. It's not, you're expecting the sand to be softer, but it seems to be covering some sort of hard surface underneath. You stealth down the corridor, and you can see the source of this light is one of the walls. As you turn towards the right is some sort of translucent blue gemstone. It's almost like a floor to ceiling, which is about 40 feet, panel of these gems. And make a perception check.
15.
As you get a little bit closer, you can look at these crystal formations. You can see through them out to what looks like the sea. And as you stand and watch for a little bit, you can actually see creatures swimming past. You appear to be in some sort of weird underground tunnel that has essentially a viewing window out to the sea.
Are we at the Sea Life Centre?
So we're at the aquarium.
Yes. Yeah, you're in the deep run tram.
Have we spotted Nessie yet?
Not yet, but
Is there anything else in this room apart from the wall?
it appears to be the passageway sort of seems to stop here, and as you look across to your left, it sort of opens out for another 60, 70 feet perhaps. So with that perception check, that's what you're getting from this room. It's an open space. It's about sort of 40 feet high, this crystal viewing window, as it were. The rest of you come to the bottom of the stairs and see this silvery soft sand at the bottom and a blue glow up ahead.
Do I see Snow?
Weird.
You do not. Snow is stealthed way.
All I've got in
Actually,
my-
make a perception check.
All I've got in my head picturing this blue glow underwater is, if anyone knows of them, but the bioluminescent plankton from Wales and Menai Bridge.
Could be.
All I've got in my head right now.
Sorry, what did you get?
5, no
5.
chance.
No, not a chance.
Snow had emerged sort of out of the pool of shadow to Trelador's right. Just tap him on the shoulder.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm not sure Trelador would see Snow if he was tap dancing in front of him with that roll.
No.
So you're making
You
your
need
way
to
back down the corridor to Trelador at the bottom of the stairs. Okay, cool.
You need to stop doing that.
Do I though?
It's kind of his specialty, to be fair.
It's not much fun. There is a room that expands out about 60 to 70 feet. Yeah, it's about 40 feet high. But one of the walls is made of this translucent blue gemstone type material. It's
Maybe
like a window into the sea itself.
Yorick, Gus, maybe you want to have a look at that.
Gems, let's have a look. We might know something.
Right, and scuttle forward.
Okay.
The point of order, do not hit one. Do not take one out of the wall. You will probably flood it and kill us all.
We're not stupid.
I find that being very specific with you two is important.
That's a
Sorry,
fair
did you
call.
say something?
When we get out
Gus
there,
comes back and goes, what?
Come on.
Okay, so you make your way across this silvery grey sand to this room where there are indeed these sort of large crystal formations that
Can we tell what sort of crystal it is?
make a nature check with advantage with these crystals.
I would like to examine what's going on outside this window if possible.
Certainly make a perception check.
but can I be the one looking at it and trying to discern the magic that's in this? Because clearly there is some
Make
kind
an
of magic
arcana
going on.
check.
15.
15. Let's start with the dwarves because they went first.
18.
18. It appears to be some sort of diamond, but the way it's in the wall looks like somebody's placed it there rather than it being a natural formation. It looks fabricated to your eyes. Somebody has worked these diamonds into a wall.
Is it one big diamond or lots of little ones?
No, it appears to be sort of chunks, uncut, but chunks of diamond that are sort of placed into this wall, interlocking.
Oh, cool. Quite a lot of white diamonds there.
I know, it's impressive.
Someone took a lot of effort to build that, though.
So, Celeste, you got a
15.
15. So you sort of peer through this crystal diamond, assume that what it is, and you can see shapes moving about. You look to be very deep underwater. The water is dark. And just occasionally a sort of something will swim past in the distance. It's sort of a darker blur. But as you're stood there watching, concentrating, you see a shoal of fish glittering silver as they pass the wall and they go back into the darkness.
Are any of them swimming into the wall or against the wall?
Don't appear to be.
Okay.
So, Melissa,
23.
23. This has a really odd feel to it. This appears to be... You're not sure what kind of magic it is. I mean, it feels almost... It's reminiscent of Vale when she performs her magic. But it's something extra, something more than that. Something almost celestial in nature.
Is it a similar sensation to the figure we saw
Yes,
that grabbed the trident?
very much so.
It says this magic's celestial in nature. It's quite distinct. A lot of light to it.
Well, knowing how much you lot like these gemstones, these would keep you going for quite a few years, these would, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with what Snow suggested, and taking these things out would be a mistake.
I expect it would.
I feel we're quite deep underwater, and unless you are particularly skilled, the pressure could, in fact, kill us before we drown.
I don't even think any amount of skill could take any of those off the wall and
with your
live long.
with your survival, with your nature check, Yorick, you look at it and this is structural. If you start taking diamonds out of this, it's all going to come down. It's going to end very badly.
Is there anything else in this room now we're all inside?
Make a quick perception check for me.
So yeah, just so everyone knows, despite what Snow said, nobody touched these crystals.
It's exactly what I said, but thank you for supporting my point. 18.
18. There are, as you walk back to the back of the room, opposite the diamond window, you can see some writing, is it, on the wall? It's what languages do you speak, Snow?
Dwarvish, Elvish, Thieves' Cant, Common.
Yeah, it's nothing that you've ever seen. Some weird carvings in the wall.
Does anybody recognize this?
I will
have a look.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody here speak Celestial?
Nope.
That will be the Celeste.
Yep. Okay, so you look at it and recognise it as Celestial. It's one that you've not seen, some weird ancient form.
Is it ancient to me?
Yes, very much so.
Then it's going to be fucking old for everybody else.
Yeah, but they don't know. None of them can speak Celestial. So you look and you sort of try and decipher it. It takes you a while, but eventually you get... It's a story, and it tells of the dragon wars that brought the wrath of the first. The wrath of the first. Okay. And you look a bit further on. Give me a straight intelligence check. Well, actually, no. Let's make it a proper check. Let's see what can we do for that. Let's have a little look. Give me an investigation check. You can have it with advantage because you're reading a form of Celestial.
I got a 6 and a 19, so 24.
24 is good. We'll go with that one, right? Okay.
I think so, yes.
That was good. Okay, so yeah, it tells of times long ago when the dragon wars brought the wrath of the first goddess, Zanari, who brought forth the other gods and goddesses to control the dragons and to assist the mortals. So basically, it takes you a while to decipher this because it's written on a wall, obviously by someone who knows what this is. But it's more of a reminder than a tale. But there's another one a little bit further on, which tells of a time that Zanariel was imprisoned by the gods for many years. But you're not sure why, but there seems to be a great anger in this text. And it also says, remember, I was the only one that did not join it. And then there's another text that tells of a band of heroes led by a great sorcerer who freed Zanari. And then, on on the far wall adjacent to this one, there's just one word, and it just says mother.
It's not ominous at all.
Okay.
So, do you
I will just sort of
relay-
take some time to sort of process it first to make sure I've understood it correctly, and then I will go back over it again. This time, reading it out as I'm sort of translating it, just to make sure that I didn't make any errors.
While she's doing that, Gus has got bored, so he's going to be poking around looking for any other doors or exits or secret things.
Make an investigation check.
Well, it's brilliant at these.
Are any of these names familiar? Well, it was only Scenario that was the only name that was mentioned.
I mean,
10.
10. Yeah, you don't really see any other exits or entrances. It appears to be just this room. Make a religion check.
Through
Celeste.
on that same tact, Chaz. Through my readings and learning of times gone by, old stuff, anything what I've read through books on old deities, if and when they were ever.
Yeah, I'll say you and Yorick can also make religion checks.
Oh, I was going more for history, but yeah, okay.
22.
22. You've heard of Scenario. You know that she is a nature goddess, in your world certainly. Known for being very reclusive, and you're not sure if she has any official temple or worshippers. So, Yorick and Florian, what'd you get?
I got a 16.
16?
I got 19.
19. You know, you've heard of the word scenario. You believe it was a nature goddess. That's about it. All you got, Florian. Yorick, you have spent some time in the Temple of Riox. You know he claims to be one of the first gods. And you know that he also claims to be a direct, was brought forth by Zenariel the First. So you know that Zenariel could technically be Riox's mother.
Interesting.
Has so Celeste has kind of told us about these and stuff. I think I might have missed that.
I think Celeste has told you what it said. I don't know if she's told you about her thoughts on Scenario or either of the other two have.
Let's go. Right, then has Vale ever mentioned this kind of name to me?
Make a history check.
Has anybody here heard of Scenario, or is it just me?
17.
Oh, go on.
You don't recall one. It's a pretty unique name. You'd have remembered it.
No, I ain't heard a name like that.
Only through reading Celeste, and my mind is picking out that she is basically the mother of nature.
Yes, that's right.
Not just that, really, because I know of Scenario.
Oh,
She's the god before my god. I mean, there's theories that Riox is the offspring of Scenario.
I mean, the name Zenario is even found in my world. She's a nature goddess, and possibly one of the first gods. As you say, I don't even know if people still worship her in my world, but she definitely exists.
Did you say that from that translation that she didn't join the other gods on this? Was it calamity or something? What happened? She stood back?
It says that she was imprisoned by most, if not all of them. But this one here, I assume the gentleman we saw upstairs, is saying on the scroll that it was not him that did so.
So, I mean, I might be making a really stupid assumption here, but maybe this is someone we actually want on our side against all of this?
Against all of what?
I mean, every temple we've been to so far, well, and I kind of shake my right hand, and they've wanted to kill us or harm us in some way. This one actually said about knowledge first. Bit of a maniacal laugh, but...
But it also speaks of the Dragon Wars. And I'll sort of cast my eyes over to Gus for a brief moment.
You'll hear Florian kind of laugh, as in dragons, as in... but not like that.
After everything you've seen, including mists that dissolve people, you find dragons hard to believe?
I mean, I've seen mists what dissolve people and stuff like that. I ain't never seen a dragon.
Celeste will raise an eyebrow at that, but she won't say anything.
I mean, could well be that they used to exist, and that's why we have stories of them.
They very much exist in my world. They're not common, but they exist.
Dragons are mythical to us. They're children's stories.
Most stories come from something.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I'm going to kind of cast a side eye at Gus to see if he's paying any attention.
Gus, are you?
No, kicking pebbles around the floor with my feet. I'm bored.
Well, you lot should probably know that dragons are real.
What?
Pay attention now. And on that note, we will take a quick break.
If there was any way to do it, that was it.
Yeah, so we'll take a quick break, grab a drink, etc., and come back nice and refreshed. So, welcome back. So, in this room, cavern, thing, whatever, you have mentioned the fact that Scenario may well be, or Riox rather, would be the offspring of Scenario. What would you like to do next?
I'm sorry, Yarg. Did you just confirm that dragons are real?
As Yorick said that,
Oh
I'm
no, he
going
was
to
doing the dragon thing, wasn't he? Sorry, the dragons are real. Sorry, right.
I'll run over to Yorick, grab him by the shoulder, turn him round, put my head to his. What are you doing?
Things are getting very serious here. I think these lot need to know. Just these lot. Tell them to keep it quiet.
Well, sure. All right.
We can trust them.
I hope so.
So, what you may not know, that up in them mountains that Gus and I are from, there are dragons.
Right.
Is this the reason why nobody else is allowed in?
Oh, that's why y'all style yourselves as monster hunters, ain't it? Y'all hunt the dragons, don't you?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Gus's little friend is also some kind of descendant of a dragon.
Maybe.
That's why you take concern to it, Yara. I see.
He's a baby, though.
Certainly explains some of the behavior that you two have been displaying.
I mean, I can only speak for my world, but dragons aren't inherently good or bad. We have different types depending on different varieties of dragon.
Sorry, I'm just trying to piece this, but this is the reason you haven't gone back yet, and why there was in that town we were in when we first met somebody who was.
Well, I suppose seeing we're telling all our secrets now, and I'll give Yorick a sort of glare. Well, you see, like it wouldn't be taken well that I've got a friend of a dragon now. Because you see, I mean, Yorick's my cousin, my best mate, and he doesn't like Fredris very much anyway. But can you imagine if someone who wasn't my best mate and my cousin saw me with a baby dragon, they'd want to kill it straight away, and I don't want that. Because it's like my friend.
What changed your minds, though, from being these big monster, well, I suppose dragon hunters, and then wanting to save them?
Well, it was sort of one talk to me. You know, we were out hunting, and we shot down this big dragon, and it landed, and I sort of landed near me, and I went to see, and it talked to me and asked me to protect its baby. And I didn't know they could do that. I thought they were just mindless killers and stuff. Because that's what we were taught, you know, we had to protect our lands from the bad dragons. And then, do you need to go to the toilet?
I'm waiting for you to be finished because I have a question to ask, but I wouldn't want to interrupt.
Oh, okay. And then I sort of, if we find dragon eggs, we're meant to give them in, but I didn't want to do that. And so I persuaded Yorick to come with me away. He didn't want to come, but he wanted to come and look after me. But he didn't know I had the egg. He just knew I didn't want to do that anymore. And then, of course, Bridris hatched and burnt my bottom. And he's been here ever since. And he's my friend. I sort of feel a bond with him, you know. He's like He's like more than a friend. He's like family, like Yorick is.
Noah will walk over and just put his hand on Gus's shoulder and just basically say softly, "Dwarven honor and loyalty," and then just pat his shoulder.
I can understand not. I can understand not wishing to go along with what your kin is saying. So.
But we also
do
Every time she opens her mouth.
Go on, ask your question.
I'm still waiting.
Ask a question, go on.
How much would I know about dragons in my world? Do I know that they can change shape and much about the different types and alignments and that kind of thing?
You would know. I mean, you know of dragons. You know that they're very powerful beings. They come in flights of colour. You've never seen one that like Bridger's before. That's very weird. But yeah, you know that, for example, red dragons tend to the evil side. The sort of more metallic dragons tend to be on the good side. But yeah, that's about it. That's your basic general knowledge of that.
Okay.
As interesting as this all is, do we really need the history lesson at the bottom of the ocean? How is this going to help us get out the temple?
I think it informs us about a lot, though. These 3 temples we've been to, there's always been some kind of release of power when we put the gem in. I think these ancient, well, gods is the best way to describe them, have been dormant or trapped within these temples for so long.
So we've been freeing gods.
I think that's what's been happening, and I ain't certain that it's a good thing.
I feel a certain connection to the water, and I would like to learn a little more about this one. If it's all the same.
As
By the
well.
way,
Sorry,
Celeste.
I was just going to say, as with all creatures and beings, there is going to be good and evil in all things, whether it be gods or humans or elves or tabaxi or dwarves.
No matter what you are, matters what you do. But see if we can't find this water god. At least try and find our way out of here, at least, because
Maybe these are all her children. Maybe one temple might lead us to Reaxis if what Yorick says is true.
well, that's what's suggested by these rat. If what you said about these writings is true, this one thinks scenario it's mother, and then, well, from what Yorick is saying, Rearx considers this scenario its mother. Have I gotten celestial senses from the other 2 temples? Because I didn't, did I? Because the first one I got a fiendish,
You did, yeah.
and the second one I got a distinct undead feeling.
Yes, you did.
Let's find a way out of here. Don't want to leave the captain and those crew stranded for too long without us.
Yeah, I've forgotten about those.
Is there a way out of it?
Make an investigation or perception check.
I can.
It could be that now we know this knowledge, that's just what it wanted us to have.
Only 11. Perception.
When you look around, you don't see any obvious ways out.
Now, I should also say that this information is just between us. Don't go and talk about this outside of us?
Your secret's safe with us.
Of course, Yorick.
Noel will draw his crossbow and pull the leather off the stock and show Yorick. And there's a sort of a dwarven oath of friendship, very sort of formal, and there's 2 names on there, which is Snow's full name, and there's a name of a dwarf called Hargrim on there. This is an oath between a friend of mine. You have my word as a dwarf friend. This will not come from me to anybody else.
Would we know of this Hargrim?
Make a history check with advantage.
History
No.
17.
17. Yorick?
9.
9. You don't recall the name Hargrim, Yorick. Gus, you do. Hargrim was a good shot with a bow. Very good. You've heard of tales of him getting a lot of monsters hunted. And you've also heard that he, when not out on duty, struck up a friendship with some tabaxi that ran the boats. So it's plausible what Snow is saying.
Right.
And you know that Hargrim disappeared about 2 years ago. He went out patrol, never came back.
Bit like us.
Pretty much.
The reason why Yorick says that is not just because it's secret, but because, like, we weren't told about you. We didn't know any of this existed. The cities, the people, all the different races, and nothing. So I've got a feeling that if you started talking about this to other people, there might be some hunters come hunting for you like they were hunting for us. Remember those ones that found us the first night in the woods?
I think us being associated with you means that anyone that's looking for you will be looking for us.
But
I feel
you,
like there are many of us that have certain individuals looking for us.
That's so true.
but you also have, especially from me, a promise that I won't say any of this to anyone. It's not just you we gotta keep safe. You didn't know about us, and all of this must be a complete sensory overload for you two, not knowing races, creatures, or anything like that. But dragons, which are, for us, just stories and myths, and meant to be extinct for years, and not, everyone's gonna hunt them, and that's not gonna be the right thing to do for any species.
Nope. But then again, we didn't know you existed till a couple of weeks ago, did we?
And I'm glad that we all know that each one of us exists now.
If anything, I think what we're supposed to do is contain these dragons to those mountains and keep everyone else safe from them.
What do I know of dragons from the old stories of them?
Make a history check.
7.
7. I mean, you recall as a child being told stories that dragons would fly over and burn everybody and eat them up, but it's just a kid's story. Snow.
Flash of inspiration's just come to me. Can I go back out to the silver sand and start digging through it to see if there's anything underneath? Because it wasn't that deep, and it seemed to be covering like a hard surface below.
Of course.
Of course, I thought that at the time, but it went completely out of my head.
That's why he's the scout.
Yep. So you go back out and look at this sort of silvery grey sand, sort of sweeping it to the sides. It's strange. There are no footprints in it at all. So your footprints coming across, back, they're not there. You sweep it to the side, and you swear you can feel it moving against your hand, but it's still there on the floor. You can't seem to. And you push down, and your hand again takes about a centimetre in. You put your hand up, and there's no impression of your hand there at all.
Can I push a blade into it? Does there any resistance to a blade?
Push your blade in, and it sinks again about a centimetre.
Yorick, Celeste, can I have some assistance, please?
Of course.
Yep.
I will go up.
I suspect magic at play with this sand. Watch. And he'll walk across and demonstrate that there's no footprints in it. He'll start to try and sweep it to one side. He could swear that it's happening, but it hasn't moved. And then he'll sort
soft to the touch as well.
And then he'll sort of push a blade into it, and he thinks like Chas said, about a centimetre, and it doesn't go any further.
Right. Looks magic-y, doesn't it?
Yeah, it would seem so, yes. Could it be sort of illusion?
It could be, but I have.
Give me 10 minutes and I can figure it out for you.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you doing? You're doing.
I'll sit down and ritually cast detect magic.
Okay.
Maybe once Yorick figures it out, I can see if there's anything left I can do, but at the moment, there is very little. I'm just going to go back downstairs and make notes about the writing on the wall, because I think it might be important. But if you call me when he's finished, we can maybe work out where to go from here.
Yes.
Whilst that's going on as well, can I be in the corridor, where you can see the sea? Or...
Well, this the room. The room is where you can see through these
the room.
glass
Okay, yeah.
And the corridor leads to that room.
So
it's
yeah,
all one level, and then the stairs go back up to.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll be in there, and I don't want to make any sketches of the room, but I'd like to focus on any sea creatures which I don't recognise, and just do a quick sketch of them, each and every one of them.
Okay, make a perception check.
Fuck me, I cannot roll above a 10 tonight. 7.
You sit and you look out and you see stuff that you recognise, but not a lot more.
If there's nothing more, then I won't make any sketches. It'll just.
I'll just be standing near Yorick, watching over him while he's doing his business.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to just write everything that I can find on the walls down on paper.
Sure.
And double check to make sure I haven't missed anything.
Okay, make an investigation check again with advantage.
19.
No, you seem to have got it all down in the correct order. It's, like I say, it is an ancient version of Celestial, but you're pretty sure that's what you've got.
That's fine.
So, Yorick, your detect magic finishes, and obviously various glows from various people, and the floor is indeed illusory magic. There's a very definite illusion spread across the floor of this room and the corridor leading back to the stairs.
Is Snow, are you still?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Well, I'll relay that to you then. It goes all the way back up the corridor.
That is very strange.
Yeah.
Because this entire room and that corridor are all covered in this silvery grey sand.
And there's definitely nothing under where this starts. What you're doing? You didn't find any hatches. Maybe it's the whole floor. We gotta check that.
We can't see it though because it's all under this pretend sand.
But it's an illusion, so
So
doesn't
what?
that mean we can feel for it? It's not real, so if we put our hands on the floor and feel, we'll be able to feel a hook or a handle.
I'm going to start sort of like with floors here. I'm going to start sort of trying to find my way through
Okay.
and see if I can find something that doesn't fit.
Investigation checks from Snow and Florian.
If I see Snow doing it, I'll start crawling around on the floor, rubbing my hands on it. Not sure exactly what I'm doing.
Then you can also make one.
Can I do something similar? But can I be investigating the wall with all of the celestial writing on it?
You can indeed make an investigation check. So,
On
first off...
that note,
sorry,
just to add into the list, I want to investigate the wall that just has a single word on it.
Okay, investigation check. So, hang on, Snow, Florian, and Gus, and Melissa.
Would I have... Sorry.
Sorry, go.
Would I have in that time finished writing all the stuff from the wall?
Yes, because that would be the 10 minutes that you're entitled to.
Can I quietly pop back up the stairs from where we came down and just pop my head up and see if anything's changed upstairs?
Sure, okay. So we'll get to you in a minute. So, Snow, Florian, and Gus will do a group investigation for you three.
12 for me.
12.
Natural 20 for 26.
26 was that 20, okay. And Florian?
13.
13. Good job Snow's paying attention, eh? So,
I told you I didn't know what I was looking for.
so you're going across this room and out into the corridor. I'll say, who's going where?
Well, I was by the sand pit, and Yorick said it was the well, what we view as the sand pit and back up the corridor. So I'd be going from the point where it's indicated, and I'd be moving sort of across the walls and the floor to see if I could find anything that was out of place.
Okay. So, just for clarification, the entire room that you're in with the diamond wall is covered in this sand. The corridor that you came down is also laid in this sand. And then you've got the stone steps that go up that you came down. So, if you're in the big room, I'll say that the other two are doing the corridor at the other end of the room. You, as you go along the wall where the diamonds are, so you can see out, there's just the merest hint, and if you, because you rolled so high, you got it. There's what feels like two levers, very base of the wall, underneath the sand.
Okay.
So, you other two, you find nothing.
Well, that was fun. What are we going to do next?
That is, there seems to be two levers just here under the sand.
Well, give them a yank. See what they do.
So, just before that happens, Melissa, what did you get?
Possibly a waste of such a good roll, but a natural 20 for 23.
23. I mean, the celestial writing here, you don't know celestial, so, but it looks, I mean, it's almost carved into the wall, but at the same time you can see finger marks. Somebody's done this with a finger. It looks like over and over again. They've spent so long carving these letters that he's actually carved them into the wall with his finger. This must have been going on for many, many centuries.
Stuck in
It's
here for a
unnerving.
while.
So, Miet,
18.
18. Again, you get the same sense that somebody has sat and with their finger just dragged it across the wall so many times, same place over and over again, that it's carved this word into the wall. Somebody has been down here for a very long time and been very, very bored. Apart from that, there doesn't appear to be anything else out of place on these walls. So, while all that's going on, Celeste has vanished back along the corridor and up the stairs. By
Just
herself.
enough to poke my head out.
So, you get to the top, make a perception check.
24.
24. So you sort of peek above the lip of this pool, and you can see the fire that you'd made earlier, which has now gone out. You can see the sort of scattering of torches, bits and pieces that you've left behind. And yeah, there's even some fish bones bits, but nothing particularly interesting. Are you looking for anything in particular? Or?
Just seeing if anything has appeared that wasn't there when we went down, or if there is any exits that have reopened since we've been downstairs.
The four doorways that were appear to be blocked still. Everything appears.
How about where we came from, or can I not see from where I am?
That doesn't appear to be an entrance. That is one of the doorways.
Okay.
So when the temple rose up, all the sort of stalactites fell away and revealed this temple. One of the doorways was the archway you came through.
I will head back down then.
Okie dokie. So, going back down, you find general excitement in the room as Snow appears to have found something and Gus appears to be urging him to do something. Take it away, Gus and Snow.
I'll do it if you don't want to. I don't mind. Oh, you're right. If you grab one, I'll grab the other.
There are two of them. Are we just going to... I suppose we don't really have much choice, do we?
We got no other ideas, have we?
Well, what's happened?
We found some levers, so we're going to yank them.
Yorick, did you detect anything magical?
Whole floor.
I'll pull the one on the left first.
It's a delusion.
It's a delusion. So you pull the one on the... It's a delusion. Yes, it is. You pull the lever on
Has
the
he got
left.
an inspiration point?
If he hasn't, he should have one now.
Okay, thank you.
Don't forget to use your inspiration points, but
You never use them, they just sit on your sheet forever.
okay. So,
Question.
completely thrown me off. Well done. Yes. So you pull the lever on the left, and it sort of ratchets down to, and you wait, and there's a first quiet kind of noise, and then more noise, water, rushing water from somewhere.
Where?
Make a perception check.
20.
20. There appears to be rushing water coming from the corridor stairs area that you came down.
That sounds like it's coming from the stairs.
And as you look, you can see the first sort of drifts of water coming in.
If I push it back into place.
It's locked.
Okay.
I'll pull the other one.
Okay. You pull that one, and there's a grinding noise. and a doorway opens up in the wall that says Mother. Just beside that word, a doorway opens.
I think we should go that way.
Gone through.
Yeah, it's already gone.
I agree wholeheartedly. Go,
Yeah,
go.
it's
Let us go. Come on.
Okay.
And Snow's like stood by the doorway, ushering everybody through. Come on,
Okay.
come on.
So you go through the doorway. Okay. So the water you can hear is getting louder and louder and louder, and you can see the water. You had to step up to get through this doorway, and as you look back, you can see the room filling with water. And you estimate you've probably got about 5 minutes before it reaches the lip of this doorway and starts to come into wherever you are.
Can we shut the door behind us?
You can certainly try. How are you going to do that?
Push it.
Is there any sort of counterweight system on the opposite side, or
Make an investigation check, apparently. Because it's a doorway, not a door.
Yeah.
So 12.
12.
15.
15. So between the two of you, you sort of looking high and low, and there's a sort of recess just about an inch deep, maybe. And you put your hand in, Snow, and there's a sort of switch you can pull.
I'll pull the switch.
Pull the switch. Door comes down, slams shut.
Well,
It's as if the wall had never been. It's just completely.
Nicely done, Sto.
That was a
So-
little bit of luck, but hopefully that
Next.
should hold the water. But just in case that it doesn't hold the water, I think we should keep going.
what's it like up ahead? Because I'm probably continuing along.
Okay, it's dark, so make a perception check with disadvantage. Once the door's shut, the light from that diamond wall has gone.
I'll pull out a torch and light it. I don't like this situation. So
Non-natural 20 because I'm still going to be in the lead in getting away from the water thing.
Good plan. Non-natural
So
20.
I'm lighting the torch to be able to look.
So, you have a look around. This is a corridor much like the one you came down, but no sand. Just rock floor, slightly damp, with sort of some lichen growing on the walls, and it sort of curves around, sort of in an S. If you stand just right, you can see all the way down, but it sort of does a sort of S-shaped curves. But it seems to go on for as far as you can see.
Let's go.
Keep moving.
So, as you keep moving along, let's have a marching order. Why not? So, Miette's out in front,
Then me, because I'm.
then Melissa,
Then definitely me.
and Florian. Okay. Next.
I think Gus and Snow would be at the back, and Celeste would probably be just in front of them because she would have been the one closest to the stairs.
So Yorick.
In front of Celeste, then I guess.
Okay. So Celeste.
Yeah, I'll go in the middle then in front of Yorick.
And I should be
Hasn't
bringing
that worked
there
out
you.
that you're in front of Rorik and behind me?
Snow. Okay. Okay. So going on. You
Dog on sofa.
Dog on sofa. Dog on stream. Yay!
Safi.
Hey, Safi. Safi. Now we can't see her. That's annoying. Anyway, you carry on rushing down this corridor. It's about sort of 15 feet wide again. Similar dimensions to the last one. You rush and you go down there for a good hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. It's getting quite tired now. It's been a long day so far. So you keep going and going. It doesn't seem to have an end, but it is sloping upwards ever so slightly.
Long corridor, this one, isn't it?
I know, I'm getting knackered.
So
I
that-
really think. Sorry, go on. But I really think we need to keep going, though. Being down here ain't gonna do us any good.
I know.
Oh, this is.
About 3 hours in, you sense the slope is getting higher, steeper. So much so that you're not quite having to go on all fours, but it's tough going. And you start to see openings by the side, sort of dark openings in the walls. If anybody cares to look down one, you can make a perception check.
Melissa,
Yeah,
you got
Perception
that?
check as I'm running past.
I'd do the same if she's got the light up.
Yeah.
17.
11. It's very dark. Looks to be a big drop.
16.
16. It is very dark. You can see walls either side.
22.
22. Perfect.
21 from me.
I had 13.
So anybody who gets over 18, basically, you can see they appear to be sort of steep, vertical drops that go down hundreds of feet. Just cut into the rock wall. You're not sure what they're for. But as you're going on, you can see these are becoming more and more frequent. And one of them, you can see as you look down, fire down below, far, far below. It's fire.
I
Oh,
relay
maybe.
everything I see to everyone who doesn't see it, just to point it out. So as we're running along,
What are you doing?
Helping.
Just be very
That's
careful. We don't
strange,
want to fall
but-
down those.
Don't want to stop.
So
Keep moving.
keep moving. Okay. So another hour goes by. 4 hours. 4.5 hours. 5 hours. You start to get really tired.
still the same thing though with these.
Yeah. More and more of these drops off. In fact, the walls are getting less frequent than the holes. So now you're running past sort of empty space and then a bit of wall. And an empty space again.
Can we still see the fire below?
You can. It's more prevalent now. You can see far, far up below what looks to be vast expanses of fire. Lava, possibly.
Before we go any further, can we just? I just want to check something out, guys. We can just stop for a minute.
I don't mind stopping for a minute. I'm knackered.
And I'm gonna get a copper coin
Okay.
out of my bag and chuck it down whichever hole I'm nearest to see if it actually falls down or to see if it's an illusion like the last ring.
Fair enough. Get your copper coin. As it goes, you watch it go out of sight.
I've just sent a question to you, DM, because it might be a bit spoilery if I just ask it out in the open.
Okay, hang on a second. Sorry, many windows.
Well,
Handle them.
these holes definitely ain't illusions like the last room, so please don't go near them. They go on forever.
I wasn't planning
Ain't
on
gonna.
it.
So I've answered the question for you.
We need to get up and out of here
So
as fast as we can.
now that
There is a hint of panic to
Oi,
Melissa's
what's up?
voice. We do not want to be staying here if this is what I think it is.
What do you think it is?
Real bad news. And I'm just keep pushing on.
Okay, I would like everybody to make a Constitution saving throw as you push on for another hour.
I thought they'd make blood hunters proficient in them, but
Oh,
I
I
think-
suppose.
So let's go. So Miette, how did you do?
4.
4. Okay, you take a point of exhaustion. Melissa, how do you do?
15.
15. You're fine. Florian,
14.
14. You take a point of exhaustion.
Fuck my life.
Trelador,
17.
you're fine. Celeste,
15.
you're fine. Snow,
19.
you're fine. Yorick,
And
10. Take a point of exhaustion. And Gus,
21.
you're fine.
I'll be pulling Yorick along. It's my turn this time.
Fair enough. So, what would you like to do? You want to carry on?
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Hmm.
Okay.
Possibly one of the fittest and fastest characters here, and I am fucked after running.
Well, you're not really running anymore. You're more sort of almost on all fours, because you have to keep your balance on this really, really steep slope. You have to be sort of helping yourself along with your hands.
Do you care to enlighten us why this is bad news?
I ain't certain, but descriptions of lots of fire and lakes of lava and that amount deep, deep below the ground certainly sound a hell of a lot like the hells. And we do not want to be tangling with fiends right now.
Do you think we're in hell?
No, the hells. There's a good few of them. Not all of them are fiery, but a good few of them are. And there are some nasty critters in them. I could be
Excellent.
wrong, but I don't want to be right.
You get lots of lava under the mountains as well. There's no monsters down there. It's just bloody hot.
The last
This
place we
much?
were was under the sea, Gus, so I'm pretty certain we're not near the mountains near lava.
And there's
Wow.
definitely some magic
We've
going
spent the
on.
last 5 hours going uphill. We're on a mountain of some type, aren't we?
Melissa
Good point.
often has feelings about things that we don't necessarily know or understand. I'm going to trust that, and I'm going to keep moving.
Do I
Especially
get obviously I've forgotten the question I asked you, but do I get a distinctly fiendish feeling around here as we're climbing?
Give me. You can do thin, can't you? Hang on.
I do have the I forget what Hunter's Bane. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me a nature check.
Sure, with the Hunter's Bane advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No would have moved forward, seeing me at flagging, and sort of just put his arm underneath and started supporting her.
19.
19. It's very faint, but you do get some sort of fiendish aura from
Fiendish.
far below.
The fiendish sense ain't strong, but it's there. We need to get out of here.
I'll be helping Yorick along by his beard.
Okay.
We are trying to get out of it.
Good.
Come on, Minette, you can do it.
Okay. So you climb the last 20 minutes or so, and you can see brightness, daylight, or starlight, something light up ahead. As you get closer and closer, you can see bright stars outside as you come out on top of a hillside. Well, you're not sure where. Somebody wants to make a nature check, look at the stars, try and work out your position.
I will definitely get in on that one.
I'll leave that to the people that look at the stars.
Okay, sure.
I wouldn't have a clue. I don't know the stars in this part of the world.
I can assist or I can help.
Obviously, I don't know the stars in this part of the world either.
You do
because I
not.
don't have a-
The stars make no sense to you in this part of the world at all because you're not from here.
I'll give it a go from obviously like map making in that. I would assume
Sure.
that I would.
I got 18.
18. You think you should be near Dar somewhere. but you don't recall. You certainly don't know. You've never travelled the waterways to Dar, but you don't know of any, heard of any mountains here. But you think you're fairly far south of the inland sea.
His roll beats mine, so
What did you
that's
get?
I got 13.
13.
I don't recall anything like this near, but we are far south of the inland sea. We must be near, at least near Dar.
Is this landscape look at least somewhat familiar?
Make a perception check.
Oh, it definitely did. Can I get in on that?
Yeah, of
Seeing
course
that.
Perception 17.
17.
Natural 20.
Ooh, hello. So, Melissa, you look around. You're not sure. You think maybe
Looks
you're
vaguely familiar.
you're sort of, yeah, possibly you're the south side of the water, as Snow suggests. But you don't think you're on the Dar Peninsula. You think you're on the opposite side. Florian,
No,
you look around. Given the information from Snow, you just think, you do a quick bit of triangulation in your head, and you go, actually, yeah, you're east. No, west of Dar. You're west of Dar. There's a small range of hills here. Not tall enough to be mountains, but still really very big hills. You think you're probably on top of one of those.
What are you getting, Melissa?
feeling we ain't on the peninsula. I think we're inland.
We definitely are. From the information Snow's just given us, from the sky, from the stars, I think we're just what would you say, a few miles west of Dar, or several miles?
I would suggest what I might do is make a quick show. So if we do that. Now I would suggest that you are around here. See where my mouse is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You're about there. Now much of this is unmapped.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there could be hills here, and indeed you're still on one, so there must be. But yeah, you're about here.
Do I know that? No, I won't. I'm not going to answer that question because I wouldn't. No, I probably would actually. Do I know that this area around Dar on this continent is unmapped?
Yes.
Okay, so I relay this back to everyone. Yeah, we're definitely to the west of Dar. We've got a little trip to go, but there's been talk about not mountains per se, but very big hills. And
yeah, I think
Big.
based on this, I assume we've got quite a vantage from on top of these hills.
Yeah.
Can we see either the inland sea or the Strait of Dar, as it were?
What did you roll for your perception?
17.
17. You think you can see in the distance, possibly the lights of Dar? Possibly.
Yeah, I think I
Can I
see
see 'em?
Dar
Yeah. You can see some lights in the distance.
that
Looking
way.
back, you could see darkness. You're not sure if it's the sea or not. It's too dark to tell.
I think we're straight north of Redport.
I wonder
I mean,
what happened to the captain.
I was thinking that, but
That's
I
a
feel
Good
like we need
point.
to send a boat out if we can
I'm
to try and get
definitely.
them.
bear in mind we've just done a 3-day travel in more than a few hours. How does that make sense?
It doesn't. But then again, what's
Then
been
again-
happening to us recently makes any sense.
From my feeling, we may well have been. Well,
Florian, darling, I've come from a different world.
mean, from where we were, we may well have been on another plane or something. Who knows how those temples work?
How do we know we are outside the temple now? How do we know this is our world?
That's to be figured. I mean, the stars seem to match what
They're not
Florian.
flying me, at least.
Well, I think we need to just get out of this entrance a little bit and find somewhere safe to camp up for the night. And I'd say that there's probably, I mean, it's not really done by foot, and if you wouldn't mind me taking a few notes along the way, potentially around 2 or 3 days before we get to Dar, from where we are.
May well be the case.
That's me just making a guesstimation, Chaz. Just
It's probable. Niet, make a survival check. With advantage.
I am able to still transform into a horse, and I can do it for longer periods now, but...
18.
18. You think that, looking at the lay of the land, having Florian point out the lights that he thinks are dark, and if you're about where he says you are, then you suggest that it's probably a 2-day walk to the river to cross over to Dar. Caravans have come this way. You've been down here a couple of times as a kid, going to Redport, but you haven't been down here for a very long time. So, but yeah, you've been here before. You've seen these hills.
If you are correct, Florian, then I can lead us to Dar in 2 days.
good. I think we should get some rest and get on with it tomorrow.
Your rest.
But I would suggest getting out of this cave entrance just to make sure if Melissa's right with what's going on.
Do you know of any camps nearby yet?
You suspect that there is one down at the base of the hills.
There should be one close by.
Melissa, there's a sudden warmth at your back and a smell of sulphur and brimstone and just that devilish, fiendish, the sort of smell you associate with horrific beings from the hells. And that's where we're going tonight.
I was going to say, I draw an arrow, strike it light, and swing around with my bow.
Yep. Okay. But that's where we will end tonight.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you very much. Well done, everybody. That was intriguing. Did you
Yeah,
like
it's
the
not every day
Water
you
Temple?
discover a possible water god and then walk through the hells and magically walk in
Casual
land.
walk through the hells, that's...
We got out the cave though.
That
I
is
suppose
true.
casual crawl given the
True.
insight.
Ruth.
So, a quick sort of 10-15 minutes of what the fuck do we think is going on? Questions, all that sorts of things.
I haven't got a clue what's going on. I'm just here for the dragon.
Is that you or Gus?
Both of us.
Both of you.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So this land is set a few thousand years or so after the last campaign. Is that where we are? When we are?
I mean,
Can neither confirm nor deny.
without giving too much away, it certainly appears that way.
Ooh.
It does feel like, with the events of the last campaign, because we unleashed scenario on that world, I mean, it feels like she's basically just taken Paladin and Tarkesis by the scruffs of the neck and just thrown them out. and then kind of just changed the world almost. Like, no longer Karlan, now Helloran. And then, yeah, I guess she didn't get rid of all of the gods or something, but...
Well, they've been contained.
Well, I think that they're either her children or the ones responsible for containing her that she is in turn in prison.
Or Scenario wasn't the only god that got contained.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I'm just going to put it out here that we have possibly already run into, or will run into again, a god that was imprisoned in a cave long enough to finger paint an entire story on the walls. So
Yeah,
it's like,
by just
how long does
dragging their
God
finger,
have to be in prison to go insane?
dragging their finger across the stone to wear it down enough.
Not very bloody clever then, did it? It only took us 10 minutes to find them levers and get out of there. You could have done the same thing instead of being imprisoned down there for 1,000 years.
Very good
My
point.
question is why did...
I will buy you a drink if you say that to the god's face when we meet them again.
Sure, I don't mind.
He would.
As long as it's
my
nice.
thing is, why did that lead to the Hells?
Yeah.
Helloran.
Yeah, Helloran.
Led over the Hells, not into the Hells.
Maybe the gods were imprisoned in the Hells?
Maybe the gods made whatever deal they could to get out.
I don't know, but for the past hour, I've been sat here sitting on a really poor joke because before we went to break, we were the revelations of dragons, and I was going to say something along the lines of, well, who would have thought it? Being stuck in a dungeon with dragons there as well.
That is truly dreadful. Well done.
I know.
I hope we hear some more tales of these wondrous adventurers.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
A dashing, charismatic sorcerer.
I don't think it said that, and I translated it.
No, I definitely remember hearing that.
I think it actually said crazy and
Unhinged.
self-important and
I thought saying fed by a sorcerer didn't mean fed by a very, very brave and handsome officer.
I think you translated it wrong. I think it was led by a gnome wizard.
Yes.
It said nothing about Captain
I think it
Fantastic.
said about a sorcerer and a pile of dust.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't let Zenariel out.
Well, they've clearly missed out a key part with the group's emotional support dragon.
For those wondering, this is a reference, a callback to our last campaign, where most of these people here were involved in releasing a goddess called Scenario.
And then having to deal with the fallout of doing such a thing.
No, the sorcerer was mostly responsible for releasing the
As far as I can recall, and I am the DM, I recall there were 3 people that had to be involved in releasing.
It was the sorcerer, the dragon, and the
Dragon.
halfling. The dragon, and the halfling with the dragon.
I was going to say,
sorry.
The sorcerer and the dragon is kind of a bit.
By that point, I think Bob was more undead dragon than Spagon.
Yeah.
Could be. But you were under the influence of a rather particular red dragon, weren't you? So,
Yes.
I tend not to think about it too much and just go with the flow.
And I know we're getting back into campaign 2 here, but the series of events was I firebombed a ship and got shit for it for weeks.
Yes, you did. Yes.
And then I tried to have more tact with things, and my best mate got murdered because of it, or during that. So then,
I just want to point out that he died and Fiddy did die because of your disintegration.
Just carry on, Martin.
Yeah, I apologised.
Technically, I died twice, but 1, I did save the party, and 2, I didn't save the party.
And that's because you were a spy.
Yeah, and
Mozak wasn't a spy.
a bomb MVP.
Rozak saved you all by taking all of that fucking necrotic energy and damage what we had early on.
That was
Anyway,
our
back to this campaign.
campaign 3.
Campaign 3. What? So, yes, you've encountered a strange being. That's 3 temples you've been in so far. Which was your favourite?
Honestly, the undead one, because that was the only one where we didn't encounter some kind of strange being after we put a gem inside a socket.
But we haven't encountered a being though. The
first one we kind of did.
Well, that was
We met the flesh jet.
Trellador's sister, disguised as somebody.
yeah. Okay. So, but I just meant it's the first one where there's been an actual being, which has been the actual chair as such, rather than it being a gem in a chair. Don't touch the chair. Touch the chair. Get a stone hand. Don't get a stone hand.
The chair was a living thing when we put the gem in. I think, but I think it's just very different.
Well, we also fiendish to undead to celestial.
Yeah, so I'm terrified that we're going to run into a Fey Temple next, because that is probably the most dangerous one.
Well, with
What
all
magic
these
counters Fey?
with all these questions about gods, at some point, possibly, the cleric might try and communicate with his confirmed existing god. Maybe.
I mean,
Sorry, we have a cleric?
It is an avenue you could explore, as you have a cleric. Just saying.
We have a cleric?
Yeah, I didn't know we had a cleric.
Don't worry, I've been full aware that that's been an option for a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody else has.
I confirmed the existence of your god.
Did you?
Yeah, a long time ago I said that I'd heard of Reaxis.
Real.
You're conflating him with Regaxis, a god from
Yeah, I
the Vision
know.
campaign.
It's still a god. It's,
Cool god.
All gods are the same in my head.
The one thing which is hard to not think about questions along the lines of that. So we know that like gods have not. There's no gods basically in this campaign in this world.
I think that's
trying
why
to think of questions around that and how to word them or how it goes. As a character, you are normally aware that there is gods and of alignments and stuff like that. But when you're a character who is fully aware that there are no gods, they are not worshipped temples. So we're part of a temple, but it's not to do with gods. It's to do with knowledge and love and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's very different to try and not go ooh, and go.
To summarize, in character, we can be sure that there's no gods, as we can be sure that Miet's people have absolutely no magic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a very good point.
You can be sure that everyone is telling the truth and telling the whole story.
All of the stories are happening. Yes.
Yep.
All
There's no secrets.
Well, we have made a breakthrough. We have found out about dragons. No secrets there now.
No, it's no dragons. It's big lizards.
Big lizards.
No.
Yep, and absolutely
Definitely
no
need more
problems with
secrets beyond that.
The dragon's out of the egg now, I'm afraid, James.
It's burned its way through your bag and your bum.
Yeah.
Yes, I can foresee no problem with telling a storyteller that dragons exist.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Although we should be thankful that was episode 18 and there are still no character deaths.
Oh, you've jinxed it now. It's like guaranteed next game.
Just trying to spice it up a bit.
I mean,
So
I have been.
The important thing is a monk hasn't died.
A Christmas miracle.
there. I think the highest odds are currently on Celeste or Florian, I believe, by virtue of one of Nat's characters or being a monk.
However, I have proven how to play a monk, so it's fine, guys. We know how
By
to do
getting knocked unconscious in every fight.
Yeah.
No, I showed you how to play a monk with Baronchian. That's how.
Oh dear.
So getting knocked unconscious every fight and then giving a ring of protection to his best beloved rather than keeping it himself.
Yeah, that was
That was very odd. I mean, could you possibly explain your thinking behind that one? I mean, giving the person with the highest number of hit points the ring of protection?
I can and I can't. The only people who understand would be you and Jay.
Right.
Following our talks off of episodes.
Okay.
The only reason why. And it would follow. And it would follow the
I'm worried.
what I chose from
Yes,
our
you
level
should
up
be.
Okay.
as well.
Cool.
So that's why.
Well, in Celeste's mind, he is the brick wall that keeps everything away from everybody else. So if we can keep him up longer, then we've got more chance.
It's a fair point.
I just want to hit something with my cursed axe. Obviously, cursed axe.
Well, given how it's the episode ended, you're going to get a chance very soon.
Don't you just love it when your DM gives you a cursed axe when you're about?
Oh yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Plus, I do have a very good sort of like chance of being first in combat every single time now. So if I wanted to, I could run away.
Running
But
away.
you must.
Good stuff.
Very brave of you.
Gave us one of the best moments of the entire campaign when you were in that inn and almost killed Dan.
I almost killed Dan's character Welby several times with that axe.
But that first time was the best time because that was when Dan actually realised he might actually die.
Yeah, his face.
Didn't he get turn invisible to stop?
It's
it
all,
from
it's
killing
fine.
him?
You know me. I've got loads of backups.
Given 6 months, yes.
So on that subject, raise your hand if you have a backup character ready to go.
I don't have enough hands.
I have an idea, but
Yeah, same. I have an idea.
I'm hoping that the fact that I've died the most means that I'm hopefully least likely to die.
I
mean,
I have
probability works.
I have several, but the one that I actually is my actual backup, I've already spoken to you about.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't have any backups.
Don't you? Okay, cool. Good to know.
Well, I haven't had a character to die yet.
Yeah, everyone who doesn't have backups is now on his list.
What? Nearly kill them enough to get them to make one.
Yeah,
something like that.
That's the challenge.
So, what are we thinking about the whole just got out of the mountain or very big hill, all turned into Hugh Grant? No, sorry, wrong reference. I think somebody got it.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? Are we about to be attacked from behind, or do we reckon we can escape?
I think maybe it's a devil on Melissa's shoulder.
I think we can. We may have enough time to try and escape.
It's
So I have
one
been
of a
saying repeatedly,
couple
let's
of
get away from here.
things. I don't think we'll be able to fight it if it is going to be a fight. I think we're going to have to run to the safety of the campground and hope that it's one of the ones that the Wandering Gusts have ruined.
I'm wondering if it's only something Melissa will be able to see.
Maybe, but my initial thought is, we fucked up. We fucked up.
It's a monster. Let's kill it.
And with that
How
line
would
of
you fucked
thinking,
up? Just out of interest, how do you think you fucked up?
We technically opened a door into the hills.
We don't know that the door wasn't there already, given that this area was a map.
We opened it.
Yeah, but sort of we've opened it from the other side, and we've emerged into our world again. So, have we just opened a door to the hell?
I don't think
in
we
true
opened
Wandering
it, but
Ghost
it
fashion,
wasn't locked.
I'm going to carry on from that in true Wandering Ghost fashion. All we have to do is get far enough away, quick enough, and no one will ever know.
I don't know if there was a door to open because we saw the starlight from in the tunnel. So technically, it was we just emerged from the hills.
Yes, but with it being magical, did us travelling along that path cause the door to open in the first place?
Who knows?
We're going to have to run away though if it's a thing because Celeste is out of magic and I'm quite low.
Well, I have a spell slot that I gained from dinging. That's it.
With what Nat said is quite pertinent, considering that Melissa does have magic. There's a lot of fire.
Well, she got very upset when it looked like her spell slot was getting away.
Yes. I was very upset with that person running away with my spell slot.
Okay, so any more questions, any thoughts or anything you want to go over?
Bit of a weird question.
Uh-huh.
Would Celeste have seen a seahorse?
What, while you were down there or ever?
Ever. But possibly while we were down there.
I would suggest no.
Okay, because it's for my wild shape, so I'm trying to consider if there's any underwater creatures she might have seen.
I think
no, seahorse, I don't think you've ever seen a seahorse.
there's a stat block, I think it's called the Quipper, which is used as the generic fish stat block.
I don't think that was the one that came up when I was looking.
Can you swim yet at level 4?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay.
I can swim now.
Level 4, I get swimming speed, but no flying speed.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'd sacrificed all that for my wolf form, so I don't know these things.
You're OP.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, I'm either twinkly, starry, healy lady or horse for people to escape.
And we appreciate
Sparkle
you very
horse, sparkle horse.
Well, I've upgraded riding horse to war horse.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So you can
Ooh,
stomp
I have
on
a question.
people
Slightly horsier.
Are you ready to partake in honourable combat with your father?
now. Oh, Sunday. Yeah.
Just to go back to Nat, sorry, one sec, is that if you're a horse with a swim speed, should we call you Seabiscuit?
Oh, that would make you a seahorse, though, wouldn't it?
That would make me a seahorse.
Oh dear. You're going to have to be a narwhal.
Narwhals, narwhals.
I'm afraid I can't be there on Sunday.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do real life things.
I'm afraid I have to do fatherly things.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what we will do is we'll cut the stream because we don't really need to tell the stream all about all of this.
Night stream.
Ta-da.
Have a stream.
Yes. Nighty night stream. Have fun.
Goodbye, bots.